Hello everyone, my name is Wayne and my Disney Infinity ID is Sumerian. Welcome to Fun with Logic, where we will be going into the toy box and doing some more advanced connections of the Creativity toys, just to see what we can make Disney Infinity 2.0 do for us. In this tutorial, we will be interconnecting logic chains. We have already gone over the basics of logic chains, and in this video we will be linking two logic chains together to achieve an even more powerful circuit. We will be using a challenge maker and these logic chains to create a 4-level challenge, which will automatically determine, if you succeed the challenge, what the next level of the challenge is going to be, and will set the logic gates to allow the next level of the challenge to work automatically. As you can see, I've already put 4 gates down, and I have used that little button over there to lock them. I've also put a trigger area at each gate, but the triggers are not attached to anything yet. That's all I've done so far. So we want our logic to be able to allow the challenge maker to proceed with the next level of the challenge regardless of which trigger area you step in. So for example, if you step in the far left one and the game has just begun, you're going to get level 1 of the challenge maker. If you step in the middle one right there, it's going to be level 1. They're all going to be level 1 until you succeed at the challenge, and then they're all going to be level 2, and so on. If we have time, we're also going to put in the logic that's going to allow us to open the gate that's associated with the trigger area that you stepped into when you defeat the challenge. So let's begin. We're going to put a challenge maker down, and we're going to make this a simple challenge. It's going to be a challenge that basically an enemy will spawn, and you have a certain amount of time to defeat it. I'm going to use the single locator right there. I'm going to tie the enemy generator to it. And I'm also going to tie player 1 start right there. So you and the enemy will start right beside each other. So if my explanation hasn't been that great of what we're going to do, you will understand as we're going. I'm basically going to take 4 logic gates because we want 4 levels of the challenge. And this logic gate is going to make, out of the output, is going to make something really simple spawn. Let's say, what's really simple? No, those aren't really simple. A mini Zerbot's going to spawn. And this one is not going to be much worse. We're going to do just a Zerbot. Now this one, the output, this will be level 3 of our challenge, is going to spawn a giant Zerbot. And our final challenge is going to spawn let's go with an Omni Droid. Those are pretty tough, I think. Alright, so now as you see, we've tied the output of each of these to spawn an enemy. Now we're going to tie them together like we have every other time, where if they're closed, they're going to send a signal on to the next one. So input block goes to the next one, input block goes to the next one, and input block goes to the next one. And we're going to say, when the challenge maker is started, send an input into here, and that's so the challenge starts, and an enemy is going to spawn, depending on what level you are, depending on what enemy it is. Now, we need a fail point for this challenge, and we're going to make it a timer. We're actually going to make it 2 timers, just because these 2 are relatively easy. These 2 you might need a bit more time. For the first timer, we're going to give you 10 seconds to defeat the enemy. And this timer we're going to give you 20 seconds to do it. And we're going to say, if the timer expires, you failed the game. And we'll do that with the other one as well. Timer expired. Game failed. We're also going to say, enemy defeated. Complete the game. You succeed. Now, no matter what happens, just because we might as well get this out of the way. So game ended is basically no matter what. If you fail, if you succeed, it doesn't matter. This will spawn this logic no matter what. So when the game ends, if the enemy is still up, let's get rid of them. And if the game ends, let's turn off whichever timer is on. So let's reset that one. And same thing, we'll reset the bottom one. And we're also going to say the output of this guy, we get the 10-second timer. If it's the output of this guy, you get the 10-second timer. These were the two, the mini and the Zergbot. Well, if you are at level 3 of the challenge, you're going to get 20 seconds. And at level 4, you're also going to get 20 seconds to defeat the enemy. Alright, and then let's also tie these trigger areas. There enters, and we want to start the challenge. Okay, so we've now set them up so you enter any of these trigger areas, it's going to start the challenge. Like we always know, all these logic gates are defaulted to open, and since we are triggering what level you're on from the output, and we're sending the input to this first logic gate, we know since it's still open, we're going to get the mini Zergbot, we're going to get a 10-second timer, and it won't matter which trigger area we step into. And there he is, mini Zergbot. Yay, we won. Excellent. Now, problem is, right, the second that if I step into the trigger area again, I'm just going to get the mini Zergbot again because we haven't closed this logic gate. But how are we going to tell the challenge maker which logic gate to close when you succeed? Trust me, I've tried with just doing it this way. There's no way to do it. It won't know what level you're on. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a second logic chain. And this logic chain is going to control what level you've just completed. And we're going to do 2 of them for the logic chain. You know how I said when you are doing logic chains, you only need to make the chain, you don't have to make the chain as long as the amount of things you're trying to make happen. You can use one less because once you get to the last logic gate, the input blocked is not tied to another logic gate, so you can use the output for one thing and the input blocked for something else. Well, we only need to do 3 things out of this logic chain, so I only need 2 of them. And I'll explain why I only need to do 3 things here. Input block is going to go to input. So once we succeed level 1, this logic gate is going to make us proceed to level 2. Once we succeed level 2, the output of this logic gate is going to make us proceed to level 3. And once we defeat level 3, the input block to this logic gate is going to turn us to level 4. So we only need to do 3 things in this logic chain. So what we're going to say is when we have game completed, which means you successfully completed the challenge, we're going to send an input into this guy. And everything's open right away, so we know the first challenge is going to be level 1. So the first time we're going to get a signal from the challenge makers when you defeat level 1. And when we need to go to level 2, so we need this guy to close. So we'll tell this guy, your output is going to close this logic gate. So now we've closed this logic gate, and the next time we go into the challenge maker, we're going to get level 2. But when we defeat level 2, it's still going to come out the output of this guy because he's open. And it's going to close this guy again, so we'll continuously get level 2. So what we're going to say is the output of this guy closed to this guy. So when this logic gate closes, close this logic gate as well. So we come in, the logic gate's open, we go out the output to close this guy, and this guy closes this guy. So now the next time we defeat a challenge, and we'll get an input into this logic gate, he's now closed, so it'll go out input blocked into the next logic gate, which is still open. And we're going to say, alright, your output is going to tell the second level you've successfully passed it, and when you close, I need you to close this logic gate as well. So now, the next time we go into the challenge maker, we're going to make it all the way to level 3. And when we succeed, it's going to come out input block to this one, over to this logic gate, and it's going to try and send a signal out of input blocked. So at this point, we can say, okay, input blocked, close that guy. Now we don't need to return the signal because he is now closed, so the only level left is level 4, and we have no levels past that. So now the challenge maker is at the final level. We don't need to continue this logic chain anymore. It only needs to function 3 times. So now that we've done this, the game should actually work very well. But what I'm going to do first is I'm going to throw in the logic to tell these gates which one to open when the challenge is done. We're going to do that with another logic chain. Well, we're actually going to work a little backwards with this logic chain. I know almost every time you've seen me use a logic chain, I do it with the input block to the input of the next gate. In this case, I'm going to use the output into the input. So when these guys are open, which they default are, they're going to just keep passing a message all the way through. And I'm also going to put a times layer beside each of them. And this time delay is a default to 1 second, so 1 second works for me. I'm going to close you, move this time delay, and the delay is complete. I'm going to close you. Okay. And this time delay is complete. I'll close the third one. And when this time delay is complete, I will close this one. And now I'm going to set it so that if this first logic gate opens, it will open that one, which will open this one. This is basically a reset I'm putting into the game. So if I open that first one, they're all going to open. And open is just going to pass a signal all the way through and not do anything. So I'm going to say, when a player enters this trigger area, we're going to open that logic gate, and we're also going to activate this timer. And so all these gates will open, and then 1 second later, this gate will close. And what we're going to say is an input locked signal from that first logic gate will open that gate. And we're going to provide an input from game completed. So the gate only opens if you've successfully completed whatever challenge level you're on. And what I'm going to do, I'll do the second one, and then well, I'll do them all, but I'm only going to show you the second one because this will waste a little bit of time if I just keep showing you this, when you can probably get the idea right away. This one, input block, is going to open this gate. Well, this trigger is going to open the first logic gate because I tied them all together so that when I open this one, they all open. And then 1 second later, because of that time delay, it's going to close this second logic gate, which we already tied the input block to opening that gate. I'm going to do the rest, but I'm going to skip that part so you don't have to see it. Okay, so I finished up that logic. So now these are all set so that the trigger area itself tells this logic chain which gate to open, but only if the challenge is successful. So let's give this thing a try and see how it works. Let's go to the last gate here. And like we know, we should get the mini Zergbot to pop up on the first challenge. Let's see if we get the mini Zergbot. Mini Zergbot. And we got it. Excellent. So we completed the challenge, and that should have gone into our second logic chain and closed our first logic gate here. So now we should get level 2 out of this logic gate, and once we complete it, we should have the output of this guy close the second logic gate so that after the next time we do a challenge, we'll get level 3. So right now we should get level 2. And as you see over here, that gate opens. So let's go to this second gate here. And we should get the Zergbot. And when we defeat him, our logic should kick in again. Let's see who we get. We've got a Zergbot. Beautiful. So we won that challenge. So now that second gate should be open. And the logic should have changed. So now the next time we start the challenge, see, second gate opened, we will get level 3, which is the large Zergbot, and we should get a 20-second timer this time. Let's try that. So we should get a large Zergbot this time because we are now on level 3 of the challenge. And there he is. And we defeated him. So now we should be set to level 4, which will be our final challenge. And all 3 of the gates are open. Let's go over here and see if we can't get the Omnidroid to pop up, which is level 4 of our challenge. And that's 4 levels out of 1 challenge maker and some logic in there to control what event happens. And there's our Omnidroid. So that is level 4 of our challenge. It has also succeeded with the 20-second timer. Our last gate's going to open. So we just used 2 logic chains kind of interconnected to each other and a third logic chain to control the gates to make a pretty interesting multi-level challenge that also has different end results, which are these doors opening depending on which area you triggered it with. So that is my tutorial on interconnecting logic chains. I hope you learned something from it, and have a great day. Thank you for watching.